We want to insert a logo, and the recommendation is you make it small as will be visually interesting, not too pixelated. So this one is 640 by 480 and 157 kilobytes, but keep in mind that anything that we put in there, it's going to, for every sheet, add 157 kilobytes, which can add up pretty quick. And I don't need it to be that big. So, let's see, new size, and for the size of the sheet, let's see, probably could get away with, well, let's go with a height of 60, and that would be 80, so that looks pretty good. And edit, and I need to copy. Before I close that, I'll come over to the sheet format, and I want it to be in the background, so Control V places it. And that got pretty pixelated, but it's still visual, and it could go even smaller. So I really didn't leave room, and I'm going to put a couple of more. So if this was my logo, and I planned it out a little bit better, and we'll just place it somewhere in there for now. The next one would be the first angle projection, which we can sketch. And there is a scale, so when I find that, we would be able to generate those. So I want something that looks about like that, and we're going to use, okay, so that one can be coincident. That looks a little better. And so the sizing and the scaling is set, but I'm just going to create one of these real quick. And I've tried making this into a block, and the issue has always been, let's see, select midpoint. The issue has always been that the blocks try to repeat and do some strange things, so just had better luck. Maybe, oh, coincident, not midpoint. And if it was to make a center line and go horizontal, then that would clean that up a little bit. And I don't really need that one. And then let's go with the center line from the quadrant to the point and make that horizontal. Alright, so this is not going to be the perfect first angle projection symbol, but it'll be pretty close. Alright, so when I find those notes again, alright, and then size-wise it's a little big, so if we scale, then I want to scale about the center point, and let's make it about 0.7. That looks a little better. Alright, and then I just have to be careful that I'm grabbing everything when I go to move. Otherwise it'll do that. So Control Z. Make sure I'm grabbing one of the objects. Alright, so something else I might want to put in is a surface finish, a default surface finish. So if we go to the surface finish annotation, I always have to get out the book and remember what all of these are. And roughness, waviness, excuse me. So maximum roughness would be, let's go with 32. And then production method treatment, nothing really there. Sampling length, if we wanted to build that. Other roughness values, there should be a waviness. That might be the spacing. And direction-wise. And then match machining prohibited. What else do we have? Machining required. Basics. And just in general all around. Okay, so we want to place that. we'll use the document font. Imagine that's, yeah, that's pretty big, 0.25, so maybe 0.1. Alright, so that's a little better. Unless otherwise specified, and get included in that, that mix. Alright, so just as an example of some of the symbols and the icon that we'd want to possibly produce in there. Another one would be if we wanted to create a note, but the note doesn't really have to appear in every single sheet, and rather than delete it, we can, so item 1, clean, let's see, let's just do part, should be free of oil and contaminants, if I can spell contaminants. Deburr all edges to a max of 0.010 inch. Okay, that'll be good enough for now. And we'll select all, we'll make that a 10 point, and then accept it. And when I pick on it, we should be able to, let's see, is this going to be a style? I think that just does the pieces. So, apparently we're in the center, or none. So that could be format. So if I wanted to, let's go to blocks, and if we make a block, note 1 is the block and the insertion point manipulator if I wanted it someplace else. Alright, and then we have the block. And then if I save the block, we need to pick a location, since there isn't one here. And my 2023 system, probably create a new folder. And then this will be the drawing note. So I could edit this block. And if I wanted it to appear on every drawing, but this could be for an assembly, this could be for something else, then let's go ahead and save this. And see if it manages to generate any errors. And yes, we want to replace. So far that looks pretty good, and I left the block in there for a reason. Because at some point I knew it was going to happen. I saved it as the drawing template as that name. So let's just go ahead and put it in there. See the warning. So template stored only predefined and empty views, so models, dimensions, annotations will be removed. Alright, so it creates a predefined view. So when I select on it, it shows the front. And if I wanted to put in more views, then we can put in another empty view. But that didn't come up with any alignment. So let's see if there is no alignment there. So it would be the top. So if that was the case, well, let's go ahead and right click and insert model. And this is another one of those, I really don't use it that much, I have created. And then it doesn't look like that one, either I didn't place it correctly or so let's just go ahead and use that, and we'll go to the predefined. And I know that I can delete these out. Usually custom scale on the isometric 1 to 2, so half scale. And maybe that gets a note. So when I place notes, keep in mind that if I place it out in the work area, it's attached to the work area. If I want it to follow the view, I have to place it in the view. Reference only. But once it's set, then I can kind of move it and position it a little better. Alright, so my selection looks pretty good. And this again is just kind of an experiment for the document template. And we'll let it save again. And yes, that warns me. Alright, so I still have this one that I placed, but it's not showing up correct. So I don't know if that's now a ghost image, or I need to find it. Let's see, drawing view 1, drawing view 2, 3, and 4. So that one becomes a folder. So I should be able to delete that. Alright, so the test for that one, and I'll probably just rename this as the predefined view one. It did disappear. Okay, so at this point, if I had predefined views, I would turn off the start command. We can just close that. When I right-click, insert model, and we accept, we're doing basically the same. Interesting jump. So not sure what happened. Oh, it picked up the alignment. So we'd want to break the alignment, put that over there. The block ended up there. And we can go ahead and check for the dimensions. We're in per standard. So if I were to dimension this, I should get, and my selection color, the per standard, and it went back to none. So either that or my settings did not stay. So let's just go to linear dimensions, and it is set to none. So not sure if I did that in the other group. Alright, so this was just a kind of experiment as well. And since I did not save this, don't think I saved this with the sheet format, we'll go ahead and don't need to save it. Let's check the other one because I'm going to get myself confused as to which one. Alright, but I should be able to go back to blocks now, insert block, browse since it's not there, find my way back to my system folder, put my drawing node in. Alright, so if I put it there, it's now on the sheet, not the sheet format. So when I edit the sheet format, I'd expect that to go away. Alright, it's still there, but disappear, I guess, would be better. Alright, and then this one doesn't have the moved and changed around, so I need to still adjust those. So that's kind of the danger of starting down the two. I'd really want to, if I'm going to do predefined views, I'd want to do those at the very end. Alright, so that being the case, let's go ahead with that one, and I'm going to delete delete those views. So should be able to highlight all of the drawing views and delete. Yes to all. And then this is still at that level. So let's Control X and edit the sheet format. I do want to see what happens if I place it, since it is a block. See if I place it, if it's going to allow it to save. Alright, so we've got our icon, our third angle projection icon, and we have the surface finish. The first angle this would pretty much be reversed. So Let's do the file save as sheet format. So I make sure that I'm getting, okay, and then the my A landscape. Alright, and it didn't bark about the blocks, so I'm not sure if that was something that happened a while back. Alright, so we'll make sure that I'm updating that one. Okay, so the question becomes, if this is going to show up in every part, I may want it on the sheet, not the sheet format. And then that way, if it's an assembly, I can just come down here and delete it. The other is that I would have to edit the sheet and then delete it out of there, go back in, and then I could continue on with my drawing. Alright, so the check something's jumping. Okay, edit sheet. Oh, another one of those graphics card things, I think. Alright, so we're going to stay with that, so we'll just do a don't save. New, just so I can double check it. We're not bringing in the model. That is on the sheet format. Alright, so the next thing I need to check is I went through, and I don't go back and watch the video that I know I put those in. I just don't know when it's saved. So linear, dims, radius. I'm just going to do a few, and then I'll go back and pick them up. But yeah, they didn't stay. Okay, so just to be consistent, save sheet format, let it overwrite, save as my document template. So if you haven't gathered, this is a lot of saving, making sure that things update. Where I tend to get myself in trouble is that things that I expect to, that I'm expecting to work correctly, all of a sudden are behaving poorly because I missed something, or it didn't keep it. So there's the dims. All right. So now the check is that I want to bring in, and we'll go ahead and create multiple views. Should need that one, and that one. And so that's kind of the trade-off of the multiple. Oh, I think I got one extra one there. That was interesting. I hope that's not my my ghost predefined view now. Easy enough to go in and change to the custom scale. It does not come in, so maybe the reference only block could be in there. Let's see, be in annotations and notes. Make sure I'm selecting. So that doesn't look like it got. And we can check by if I move the isometric view. No, it got it. All right, if it didn't move with, if the annotation didn't move with the view, then I would know that I had missed. So smart dimension. And smart dimension, and this is the difference in the isometric, is that the dimensions will be above the extension line and the vertical dimensions will be the side. So I've done some drawings that were very tight, compact, that having those in the vertical as opposed to the horizontal were beneficial. Alright, so there's a bunch more things that we could do here. I think I will, that pretty much checks out. Let's go ahead and make a reference only block. And the insertion point, that looks pretty good. So after we make the block, then we need to save the block. and we'll make that ref only and save it. So not always going to need it. And just again for the examples, I'm not going to save that. We'll open this one back up for the predefined. Oh, and I clicked on the drawing. So, all right. So this one's still at the top level. Let's try that again. I want to see if when I do that, so it's still trying to do the view with that one. So insert and insert the model, and I want to check the alignment on that one. Yeah, it jumped over again. All right, so it's going to put in those extra views. Let's see if we can undo that. Nope, it left the view aligned. And that view is aligned as well. So I wonder what kind of alignment it has. Okay, so I would go back and rename this one as predefined. And this might work out okay with the maybe the assembly and exploded view. And I don't want to spend too much time with it, but let's go ahead and save the sheet format. That's probably where it's getting, if I overwrite this sheet format, everything else is staying put. And that one's part of the document template because it's on top, I believe. So let's just do a save as, and we'll see if I can still break the alignment. All right, so now we're down to the nth detail, so to speak. So that is a good mix. Now I'm back into the habit. That one works. Let's just go ahead and hit the X and the alignment. So it's adding the alignment after the fact. So maybe I won't put in the isometric into that group, and I'll just rename that and see how much I can use it. All right, so continue to tinker and tweak these a little bit until you get the result. Rearrange as necessary. Seems like the important information ends up off on this side, and we kind of fill in as we go the other way. So I'm gonna finish the template here, and there'll be additional adjustments as we go through a few more projects.